Good afternoon, or sorry, good morning. I'm not up this early. I'm usually laying in my bed watching cartoons, but but I do try to do this as often as I can. I have to work with these lovely ladies' time schedules. It's tough being a competitor. You know, the work they got to put in. Sometimes they have to do this, that. So you got to respect what they do. So, folks, this is your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. And here we have a special guest. This lady just made her pro debut this year, and also she has done four shows. You know, in her pro debut. Her last show was in Atlanta. One of the last shows in Atlanta, she was number 2. She was this close to going to the Olympia. But like I said, she took the time to talk with me and to sit with me and to share her story, how she get in the sport of bodybuilding. And to quote the other guy, he likes to come out. He says, "And she is beautiful."
Thank you.
You know, it's him. He says, he says you're welcome, because you know he's the other guy. He'll come out of every once in a while, but you know she's cool. So we have here the lovely Mrs. Marika Jones. She is an IFBB Physique Pro. She is from St. Louis, Missouri, right there, you know, in Missouri, as they call it back in the day. You know, like sometimes now my cowboy come out. So I'd like to thank you, Miss Man, for, you know, being obliged to come out here and talk to us, you know, gentlemen out here who are fans of you ladies with muscles. So, madam, can you share with us how you get into the sport, as we call it, muscle and masculinity, since you're from Missouri?
Well, so I've been an athlete my whole life. I grew up dancing, like actually in a professional children's company, traveling around. And I always wanted to do like something that, like, my mom wanted ballerinas. And I was just like, yeah, I want to do gymnastics or ice skating or something where I could probably like break a limb or do different things. So I've always been an athlete. And in college, my scholarship was in cheerleading. So I actually went to Morehead State University, won 2 national championships there in cheerleading. And a lot of the time, a lot of us use our skills. A lot of us have actually went into bodybuilding over time. And I always wanted to get into it, really didn't know where to start, even though I knew how to work out. And years later, after having my daughter and not being an athlete and settling into being at home from college and being a mom, it was like one of those new year, new me people. I'd gained all this weight and I was like, yeah, no, we got to do something about it. And I went to work out with a friend and he was like, yeah, I'm going to do this bodybuilding show. So here's the guy I'm working with. And I was like, okay, well, I'll go see what he was talking about. Super cool dude. Some inconsistencies. I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll see what's going on. And then I ended up getting with a bodybuilding gym here in St. Louis, HD Fitness. And I started working with D'Anthony Moore and kind of got into natural bodybuilding and working up to do my first show in 2015. And so I did my first show in 2015. I sucked it up. I didn't really understand all of the different like nuances in it. I was eating like gelato and I was just doing like silly stuff. And when I lost, I was like, oh, no. We can't do this. Like, we're going to do this again and we're going to do better. And so right at the time, I was taking another position where I was being relocated to Kansas City, Missouri. So I had to take a step back for a second, but I was still like, no, we're going to do this. I'm going to train. Of course, I don't understand anything about rebounding and off season. So I gained all the weight back and had to hammer it back down and went back into going to that same bodybuilding show. It was the IFPA Naturals, and I was able to get an IPE Pro card just off of that very next show. But I didn't understand. I didn't understand the difference between the federations. I didn't know any of that. So I started kind of doing my research and I was like, yeah, we need to move over to the NPC. The IPE world is cool. Sometimes it's a little weird how they talk about like people who are not in the natural leagues. It just wasn't the vibe for me. And I know I wanted to go to the Olympia. I just didn't know that the NPC and the IFBB were the only way there. And so that's kind of how it started. And as I kept going and going and going, I had further goals. And I kept telling myself, I'm going to get to Olympia. Like, that's my goal. And that's kind of been my trajectory for since I've started really in the NPC.
Yeah, because you know what, I did interview a lady who does natural bodybuilding, and it's a big difference between the natural and the NPC IFB level. Because one thing with natural, you can't take any certain supplements and stuff like that because you don't get that muscle development that size. We look at guys like Big Ramy; they will be that big if they don't take something. And it's more the natural is more like you're just basically working out, following a diet. I've become friends with some ladies who also who compete in natural, and they tell me the big difference here. But yeah, I can understand because I played football when I was younger, and when you get into the real world, I didn't have kids, but but you get into the real world, it just things change. You don't have the time to do this, do that, and just I put on weight, and then if anybody follow my channel, know that my mother was sick for a long time. I was taking care of her, and that also stress to take care of somebody who's dealing with illness sometimes get you into bad habits, especially when it comes to eating. We got some people coming through here. I got my man KL Wonder. He is a hater. He hates on me. He says this. He says this. No, this is KL says. It's too early for that Joker shit. No, it's never too early for the Joker because he completes me and you complete me too, KL. I'm sorry. He comes out, and here he also says, "Wow, forget about the cartoons. I'm seeing hot chocolate. Oh yeah. I'm telling you, hey, I'm telling you right now, Marika. When I get a girl out here, especially she's fine, they act like you. Remember that the Dave Chappelle show where they had a skit where Charlie Murphy met Prince, and when they meet Mickey Free, and they say like Mickey Free say yo Prince got Shamrock got a new girl. She fine as a motherfucker. And that's how it's with you. So Judge got a new girl. She fine as a motherfucker. They excited to get hot. So calm down, guys. It's a lady. Be respectful. And I got rules. If you want to follow the lovely Mrs. Jones, her information in the description. Reach out to her. Be genuine in your interest. But this is a rule. It's not against you, Marika. No D pics. Stop it. Get some help.
I have a strict rule. I will definitely find your mother and send them pictures to your mother or your employment. Like unsolicited D pics is not the gym, guys. Don't do it.
Yeah, the other thing is that what my content making my interviews are more like it's funny how this is like you have this side where guys say we don't like these women with big muscles and yeah, and you have the other side where guys says wow she's cute I like she all buff can you lift me as your experience when you get into sport especially with your family and friends what were their thoughts of when you said what I'm gonna become a bodybuilder?
Well, I've always been muscular. Like if you go back to college days, like I've had traps. Like you got to think about it. I was a part of a competitive cheerleading team, like in a collegiate level. Like this is what we do. This is what you get your scholarship in. And I was on the all-girl team, so it was kind of like I'm literally squat pressing people over my head. And for whatever reason, because I had so much muscle, I always had and I don't want to say heavier girl, but when you see top girls, they're like tiny itty bitty. So I would have the girls that's my size with just a little bit more muscle. And so I have traps. I have all of this back. I've had it forever, like to be honest with you. So it's never been kind of a issue. Like I used to be really self-conscious of my back because guys would be like, oh my God, your back is so big. And I did not like it. And growing up, and my sister is a dancer and she has this pretty dancer back. And I'm just like, I have muscles in my back. So my family super supportive. Like my mom didn't understand it and she's understanding it more now. When I told her I was going to do Tampa, she was like, oh gosh, give your body a break. But I was like, no, mom, I'm so close. And she was like, okay, let's do it then. Go for it. I was like, okay. But my daughter, she's supportive. She still doesn't understand it, but she knows that, all right, mom goes to the gym. Let me make sure the dishes are done when she come home so she can do what she has to do. But all in all, the people that surround me know who I am as an athlete and know me as an athlete and how hard I go for things that I want to go for. So it's not ever a situation where it's unsupportive. Now at work, they don't understand. Now I'm fully remote. So like before when we weren't fully remote, going into the office with my meals, and a lot of times everything was, oh, we're going to order pizza for everybody, or like our leadership dinners, we're going to go to this fancy restaurant. And I would be there like, okay, well, I'm going to get some type of fish, some type of regular vegetable, while everybody else was eating kind of like craziness or donuts, or it's all of those different things that you deal with in a working environment. And where I work, we always called it, oh, okay, well, we're gonna gain the almost like the freshman 15, because like there were micro kitchens and there's snacks and there's gummy bears and chips and
And the vending machine, and yeah, and
we don't even have vending machines. We had full kitchens that was stocked with like, yeah, it's one of those like cool culture places where it's almost like remnant of like Google. So you go in and it's literally cereal. You can go and eat whatever you want, yogurt. It's fully stocked with a lot of different things. And a lot of times they try to keep it healthy with some unhealthy things in there, but you know, it's snacks all day. Or they're providing spike lemonade after 2:30 or something, you know what I mean? Or they'll bring donuts. So it's like it's a super different type of culture and working environment. It's great, but it also does not help to keep you healthy a lot of times.
yeah, I could tell you this. When I was a teenager, my first real job was when I was about 16, 17. I was working at a gas station, and I used to have hot dogs in the machine. And the other night, the boss says if they don't want to buy all hot dogs, I can take them home. And sometimes I eat some doing work, or I take them home. And my nephew used to work at, if I don't know if you have it in your area, it's Hardee's, or
Yeah, we
they
have
call
already.
it, yeah, you have Hardee's, okay. And they used to work there sometimes to get the chicken, something left over, you know. I understand. I used to work at this job where my next job was where I work at textile. I used to work with women, a lot of women, and they always, every so often, we have something like a big meal every day, and they bring some home cooking, or they make you a little something, you know, like I mean, one lady she made me a coconut cake, and you know, and just I could tell you, it's just, you know, but it's that's the thing of it.
It's hard. It definitely is hard. And even like now, because my team and the people that I work with know what I do, if we go to like a leadership dinner, they're like, okay, well, what can you have? Like, look at the menu, let us know, you know, and most of the time it's like, I can't have nothing. I'll see y'all on the next one. I know how to say, okay, well, I'll come into the office and say hi to you guys, but I can't make it to the dinner because I'm in prep. These are things that are valuable to me. So it's nothing towards them. And it's great that they think about me in those terms, but all the time. Or I might just show up and not eat. I just show up to say, hey guys, and see the team, and I'll leave. It's just
Mhm.
normal at this point.
Yeah, because people got to realize about bodybuilding that food is, it can be a tool, but at the same time it can be a weapon, especially as you develop and growing. You know, and you're in a division where which size is not as important, but condition is very important.
Hmm.
Also, we have this is for a comment. This is from my nephew. This is
Okay.
yeah. He says, "We live, baby." You know, hey, thanks, Gabe. You know, appreciate that. He's my second oldest sister's um only child. He's the only child like your child.
Hmm.
You know, my mama spoiled him because he was like, yeah, that was a, you know. Also, this is from a man Kale. He says this. He says, dancers usually are well built with a muscular physique. Look at the Big Liz from back in the day. Yeah, Big Liz. Yeah, Big Liz. Big, you know, and I remember her. You know, also, um, this is from my man Roy. He says, "Do you have ambitions of being in women's bodybuilding in the future?" So that's the thinking. Are you thinking about? You feel? I know when you competed in physique and also did figure, and you know, so
Well, I got my pro card in women's bodybuilding. So I started, what is it, 2021 nationals. Me and my friend were talking, and I was going to do physique. And she was like, you should do women's bodybuilding. You should try it. And I was like, oh no. And so like last minute, I was like, I told my coach, I say, let's try women's bodybuilding. Let's see what it is. Let's do physique and women's bodybuilding. And that's when I got top two to Chelsea. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is cool. I liked it. It's pretty much the same poses as women's physique. And then I ended up doing women's physique. Obviously, I didn't get my pro card that year, and that's fine. You know, it just wasn't my time. And so then the following year, I did Charleston, but they didn't offer a pro card in women's bodybuilding. And so I did women's physique, and my condition wasn't there. It is what it is. I make no excuses for anything. It just wasn't there yet. And then I did teen and masters nationals where I did physique and women's bodybuilding. So at teen and masters nationals for 35 plus, you have to win your class and then win the overall. So that's actually what I got my pro card in. I think about it, but some things I'm not willing to do and some things I'm willing to do. Like, and this is nothing to anyone involved in the sport, because every lady is beautiful in their own way. I just would like to be as feminine as possible for me. So if I went to women's bodybuilding and I wanted to be truly competitive, I would have to really take like a year up. And my genetics, it does not take long for me to gain muscle. If I focus on that, it really does not take long for me to gain muscle. So I wouldn't have to take a full year off, to be honest with you. I could do a really good 6-month off season and make improvements, just because I know my body and I know who I am, to really grow, because I think my upper body is great. I could do with some more size in my biceps and upper body, but my quads, I would really want to grow my legs a lot more to be competitive, because I don't want to do it for the sake of doing it. I want to do it and be the best. So I'm going to make sure that I match up to the people who are the top Olympians, and I look at that aesthetic and whatever those qualifications for that category is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think if you look at when physique started out, and I wasn't, I've been a fan of bodybuilding for a long time, especially the women. I've been following bodybuilding since I was about. My brother used to play football here in our hometown. He used to get the muscle max. I know the story I always tell, but it's a true story. And I've been following bodybuilding since the days of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lee Heaney, those guys, and then follow women like Corey Everson, Linda Murray, Laura Craval, up to Iris Kyle, to one of my all-time favorites, Andrea Shaw. Oh my gosh, she's just so beautiful. I mean, she got me simping right now. I talk about her.
And, I talked to her at the Olympia.
Oh wow!
I talked to her at the Olympia this past year, and so she was like, "You got your pro card in women's bodybuilding," and I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Don't go down, do women's bodybuilding." And I thought about it, but then I was like, I want to like step out into the water. I didn't want to get my pro card to like disappear like a lot of people, because then you're still fighting it hard to like make your name and make your mark. So right now, it was, like I said, it was just strategy, but I'm not negating it. I think that it would be positive either way, to go to women's bodybuilding. I'm just kind of seeing where I fit in right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's the thing, is because I think the fact is that not everybody is perfect for a certain division. We have to go by genetics, and also the thing is, yes, there's a debate about the femininity thing. How if you take certain supplements, we all know that they are, certain muscle enhancers, that it does kind of change some aspects of femininity. And that's the debate of, like, my man Roy used to say it like this. He says, yeah, but if you want to get to the top, you have to make those sacrifices. I mean, the femininity. Well, no, Roy, it's not.
No.
I know some aspects of it is sacrifice, but if that's not what someone wants to do, they're not going to do it, and they respect themselves as a person, and they want to see themselves grow. We're going to dip into her social media for a bit, folks, and there's some great pictures I saw here. I was like, she got some. She is a great person. This is an amazing lady. We're looking here, and I see you have sponsors too.
Yes, my sponsored ambassador for All Max, and my suit sponsor, Sparkle Bitch Suits, sponsored me recently. She showed up to Chicago with a brand new suit for me, which was amazing. She's an amazing person.
And I think this is one of the suits. Is it the suit, the boxing right here? We're going to pull up here.
Figured that I would share with you guys my unboxing. This is my first time like talking and unboxing, so here we go. This is my May box. All of these things help me throughout prep. I'm about a week and a half out for my second pro show. So let's get into it. So we have L-carnitine, lights out, gotta get your sleep during prep. The best pre-workout, the best tasting pre-workout. I dry scoop my pre-workout 30 minutes before I hit the gym. Glucose FX. A-cuts every morning fasted with fasted cardio. Ashwagandha and yohimbine. These are my main prep things that I use as I get closer and closer to the show, even a little bit further out, especially the pre-workout as I get into everything. So if you guys want to try it, use my code Marika15, allmaxnutrition.com. Hey guys,
that's pretty
I
good.
figured that I would
get sponsorship, and and what would you eating? It looks like that.
It's a gourmet French fry place. It's a Black owned business here in St. Louis, and it's like French fries, and you can top it with whatever. They have like a list, and I want to say this was like the Philly cheesesteak one or something. It was pretty phenomenal. It was good.
That looks good. That looks good.
It's real good.
Yeah, I might give you a reason. I got friends that live in Kansas, and maybe it might swing by Missouri one of these days. And this is a comparison from the St. Louis show you did, and also from the Optima show you did. And look like you really made some like here. I think you look maybe just the lighting. Mm-hmm. But here at St. Louis, you look a little bit more conditioned compared to the Optima. Maybe just
I was more conditioned in Optima, and I had 2 weeks in between, and one of my main focuses were the glutes. So if you go back to the back part of that picture, like I was really super hyper focused on getting my glutes a little bit better in those 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. That's the hardest part for me.
Yeah. I think especially conditioning for Black women, because especially being I'm from like you're more Midwest, but that's the cat close to the South, and those Black genetics really can come in effect as a person's developing here. And also this is from we gotta be careful with it because we don't want to get any music. And this is from your performance at the Optima. Yeah, we wish we could zoom in a little better, but it's but we gotta zoom in here. Yeah. You look pretty impressive. What was that feeling? Because this was your second show. What was that feeling?
It was, the Optimum great group of people. It was an interesting show, but I still don't even understand how to describe the feeling when I'm on stage. It's almost like outer body. Like it's almost like I'm there. I can hear the crowd. I can feel myself doing the motions, but I'm like watching myself do it. It's such a weird feeling. But I think this is the show where I really shook my nerves off of being, okay, you're a pro. You're just as deserving as anybody else here. Like, so get your head out your ass and like really perform. And I think that was the feeling of this show as I continue to do these pro shows.
Yeah, that's the thing it's about developing, growing as a competitor, and and here you are, little posing, like I said, if I'm gonna do my Austin Powers impersonation, if I tell you have a great body, will you hold it against me? Yeah.
And I pose on my front porch, and people always say, "Oh, well, what about the cars that come by?" I'm like, listen, my neighbors know. There's no house across the street. So it's like they would really have to come up on my house or be coming down the street really to see me. So I don't cause any accidents.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna call somebody build a house across from you. I say, hey, like I'm gonna build a house across this chick. I'm just gonna hey, some small guy. And this is your little baby here, your little girl. What's her name?
Her name is Crystalline.
How old is she?
She's 14. She'll be 15 here soon. I'll soon have a high schooler. And we have our birthday is about 10 days apart.
That's so cute. And she's just as pretty as her mama.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And and you said, when you started this process, what was her thoughts and feelings knowing her mom was going to get into this sport of bodybuilding?
Well, she was so young, so she didn't understand it. Her father is also like into working out and sports and stuff. So she stayed in the gym with us a lot of the time. So it's not anything not new to her, and she didn't understand it. As she gets older, she understands the sacrifice that I make like every single day, like to eat well and do things. And I don't stop her from eating fun things or anything like that. Most of the time she has Chick-fil-A and I like roll up the windows in the car just to smell the fries. But I don't prevent her, and she loves videography. So a lot of the videos like this, she actually took the video for it. Yeah, so she loves doing stuff like that.
She has a good future because a lot of, like I said, a lot of children, especially young children, they love social media and they love. And this is good that it helps you out too, because it gets your get you across, get people to notice you. Because that's one thing important about in sport of bodybuilding is becoming monetized. Because it's tough for a woman to compete in the sport and to try to make a living out of it. We got some guys. We got some entrepreneurs. This is when you were at Atlanta, and and I had a couple of ladies who were friends there. I was planning on going to this show, but then I had to get my car worked on, and that car. You know anything about car? It's always something breaks down, and you got to get it fixed.
My brother is a mechanic, so I definitely know about that.
That's good. My brother used to be good with cars too, my late brother. But and this is your performance at the Atlanta Pro. I was trying to find the pictures for that show. I mean, it was almost a week till they put them out.
They put it up a week later. Like I got my Chicago Pro photos before I got Atlanta Pro photos.
Yeah, I mean, I was, like I said, I'm a big fan of Linda Murray and what she's been doing for women's bodybuilding. And I was like, I know somebody who was asking me, said, George, when put the pictures out? I said, I don't know, because usually now, like a show like Chicago, it's a bigger show. It's I think a second tier show, as they called it, where we used to have the point system. But they usually photographers put because this is the way y'all ladies can put on your social media. I like this one right here too. I mean, I'm sorry, the perv comes out of me every now and then.
It's okay. Yeah, that was in Shreveport.
I think you looked way more conditioned here. I mean, wow, hey, you guys, stay calm, be cool. I know you guys, you get excited. We see these ladies puffed and shredded, when you pop in a tent, but hey, come on, be respectful. She got a kid, man. She got a kid, and like I said, you have the classic lines and looks that, I would say go back to maybe the early years of women's bodybuilding to maybe the start of women's physique, good lines, not too much, size, but you have those great sleek look to you. You have, and plus, like I said, you're a very attractive lady, and that's a bonus. That I think when the ladies are very appealing, guys get excited. We and also, the judges, and I think a lot of the sponsors love looking with someone like yourself. Here we got some comments here because hey, when I get a girl here, guys are so excited they want to talk to you. Let me go through here the comments. Here. He says, this is my man KL saying, no wonder why you're so big, George. You're getting tempted by women's cooking. Well, my mama was a good cook, and she was a good woman. She was my woman, and she used to cook good for me. So you never understand that, KLA. You from New York. Y'all can't even look at each other in New York. Y'all, this out here South is different. Cook is different. Also, my man KL says, like, did you ever do diuretics for a show? I'm just wondering about them. And that's the thing is, because a lot of people don't understand that, diuretics, some competitors use them. It helps them give them that pop, that more vascular look. As a competitor, do you prefer to use them, or you think you just feel like, nah, I don't need them?
I didn't at first. But this season, yes, I've used diuretics, and it helps with me. I have so much dense muscle. I have very dense muscle. So, the diuretics definitely help with the overall stage look as we get closer, you know what I mean? And for me to feel out.
Yeah.
But I also have learned that maybe I don't need to take my water away. I actually keep drinking, which also helps my body.
Because water is very important because it helps you hydrate you, helps with your skin. A while back I was in the hospital because I wasn't drinking enough because I was working out one day. I just says, oh, my heavy head, and I thought my blood pressure was a little high. Then I wasn't getting enough water because one thing is about myself is I have a heart condition where I have a pacemaker, and I take diuretics because it keeps the fluid around my heart from building up, and and that's I need it. Because it's important, but I shouldn't take it too often, too much. And that's the thing about the process of when you train, you have to find the thing that works for you and your balance. Here we got my man KL, he's a fan. He says, she is fine. She doesn't want to go to the point into bodybuilding. It's cool because there are women who took enhancers and they did not like the results to a certain point. Yeah, I just posted on my IG, follow my IG, that Jennifer Taylor, who was selected for the Masters Olympia has dropped out for personal reasons. She came back out of retirement. She competed at Pittsburgh. And that thing is that this sport can be not only mentally, physically, financially, emotionally draining, especially for women. Because as women, this is like men's purpose in life is like Conan. Our purpose is to build, battle, breed, and we die. Your women, your purpose is to breed and have babies, and that's it. But to change the aspects of your body that's a tough part that people don't understand about being a competitive bodybuilder.
Yeah. And the hard part about all of it, for me, like I said, I always say, like, if I wanted to have more children, I want to be able to have more children. I don't want to blow my body out to the point where the things that we as women should be able to do, I can't do, right? But a lot of times I think also it's cool, right, to get the judges' feedback. The feedback is important. I tell my direct reports that all the time. Like, feedback is important for you to grow and to get better. But I think people internalize it so much to the point, again, we all want to win. We all want to be at the Olympia. And there are some people who will do whatever it takes. And there's some people who won't. And I'm not saying that I won't do whatever it takes, but I'm going to do whatever it takes within my power. Like, as far as training, like, I'm no stranger to hard work. I don't care how much cardio I have to do. If that's what it takes, I'm going to do it. I'm not trying to get around the process. And I'm not saying anybody else is. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, just for me and how I look at different things. But every judge judges differently. So if I was to go off of every single different judge, like, I'm going into my 5th show this year. And mainly the feedback was my glutes. And so I've been working and killing my glutes, right? But if I go somewhere else and they're like, oh, okay, well, you need to be bigger. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be big. You can't really get too much hung up on every single individual judge and what they're going to say, because then you'll end up with the physique that you have tried so hard to get to that is not appealing. You don't have any symmetry anymore. You've blown out your waist, all while just trying to get bigger when there's so many more aspects. I think of bodybuilding, me personally, my personal opinion is not anybody else's, as a beauty pageant for women with muscles. So for me, my hair, my makeup, my nails, my toenails, my suit color, how it's going to look up under the lights, on my skin, all of that matters in the overall presentation, as well as the body, your posing. All of this matters. And some people don't understand that, in my eyes. So in my eyes, I think it's the overall presentation as well as the conditioning, the symmetry, and different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing is, one thing is what works for one person may not work for another. And to grow and develop in this sport, that's the tough thing. You got to find where like I said again, you got to fit in where you fit in. And,
right.
I know some women, they do prefer to go to the next level. Like you just saw, you were at Chicago with Melissa Tyke, who just was physique for a good while, and she switched up to women's bodybuilding. I know Jessica Martin, she also was a physique competitor who went up about a couple of years ago. And I think, if you look at how the divisions, this is one thing, how the divisions are kind of like, the lines are kind of blurred, and where, like I saw, like, one person I follow is Ashley Jones. If you follow Ashley, and she posted one of her pictures.
She just posted recently.
Yeah,
like she's doing women's bodybuilding.
It was about time, because she was figure when she started, and now I think she still needs some look. Because I remember doing an interview. Andrea said she does have those muscle bellies, and and how much large she got, because compared to when she was when she made her debut in physique, she took second at Tampa, and then she won the Texas show. She won in Chicago, then took second to Melissa at Texas, and then if she wasn't sick in 2021, she could have competed that year. We could have measured how 2021 Olympia to 2022 Olympia, but she took I think she was 11th at that show, and from what people were saying, she should go up. But I think she has those genetics, and the thing is, she's still young. I think that's the one thing, the youth advantage of it, because a lot of much older competitors, when they hit their levels, when they hit their peak, you might say. Like, I did interview lady Sherry Piami. Sherry, she competed last year in women's bodybuilding. Did pretty good. She took second couple of shows, made third, then turned around, she won Vancouver, and now she's going to be at the Rising Phoenix, and she's on the way to Olympia. But it's about what works for this person may not work for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like I said, it's not off the table. I just want to make sure that if I do go to women's bodybuilding, I can be competitive. So if that means me taking a full 6 months, I think I've been competing pretty frequently since I want to say about 2017, like nonstop, like, have a brief off season, come back, make improvements. And again, I can retain muscle pretty easily. That's just always been my thing. So I'm not too concerned with putting on the muscle. It's just the uncomfortableness of walking around at a certain weight and then hammering it down to make sure that you have the conditioning that you can be competitive is really, for lack of better words, it's just really a mind game, at that point in time. So mentally you have to be there and have to say, okay, this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. But right now, like I said, I'm just kind of finding my footing to see what works for me and where I can be competitive at.
Mm-hmm. So, as you said you're going to do a fifth show, and that is, I'm going to guess, Tampa. Tampa's a big show. It's like Tampa, Chicago, or probably two of shows, the big shows for Tim Gardner. Tim Gardner is one of the top guys in the promotion when it comes to bodybuilding. He's one of the few guys who still give stages for women's bodybuilding. But I got to give respect, because what, most competitors usually stop at 2 or 3, and you're like my man Rocky Balboa said like this. You're like, it's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you can take the hits and keep moving forward. You keep moving forward, aren't you? You Rocky.
Well, I told myself like 3 shows, but like my body has I felt good. Like I felt like, okay, my thing is, you're going to keep seeing me. I don't care. You're going to keep seeing me show up, and you're going to keep seeing me show up with a better physique every time. Even if it's a 1% change of something better, I'm going to keep coming until you understand that you're going to keep seeing me. You're going to keep hearing my name in the mix. And I'm going to eventually hit my goal. Like, it must be the Virgo in me. Like, once I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to hit the goal. Now, when it's my time, it's just only a matter of time. You just got to keep putting in the work and keep showing up.
Oh, so you're a Virgo. So your birthday is when?
September 17th.
Well, I am a Scorpio. My birthday is December 19th. So I don't think some thinking about those things about I got to see Virgos and Scorpios. I don't know, but I got to respect your game.
You said yours is December 19th?
No, November 19th.
November 19th. I was like, okay, December. I'm like, this Sagittarius is my brother's birthday, but.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. We got here a man, KL, he's saying this. He says, these are people that think the same way it's a pageant, it's a beauty pageant with muscles more than a sport. And that's true. It is a sport. Because when I used to come up, bodybuilding used to be on like network television. You should catch it on ESPN, But the last few years, you won't catch it online. The pay-per-views. I mean, and I know I got to. This is something I still. It's going to be a year ago in September, where I went to see my first bodybuilding show, and it was a great opportunity. I've ever since I started doing this content, I've met women, people in this sport. There was a while back I went to an event where a guy who had to start a magazine for women's bodybuilding. I met some of your bodybuilders, a couple of ladies that did interviews with, ladies that become friendly with. And I respect you ladies for what you do. This is a tough sport, and this is a sport that's not very lucrative, as you might would say. There's not a lot of money, even if you're the top level competitor. You're not going to make as much. And then, as I said, for you women, it's a lot more expensive compared to the men. The guys that wear a banana hammock, a pair of board shorts, and spray tan. That's about it. You ladies have to have not only the cost of your coaches. You may have a coach for training, coach for posing. You got your gym time. You have to eat more than most than the other people, and especially you have to eat certain foods that do like when you eat healthy, it's expensive. You know,
Mhm.
it's not what some foods like, especially with the formulations going on. Then the cost of the travel, cost of your suit, cost your hair, your makeup. Back in the day, when bodybuilders used to wear maybe one suit, and that's for the posing and the prejudging. You have to have your suit for your prejudging, your suit for your finals, and it's just and
It's
especially
really expensive. It's way more expensive for women. It is. And make no mistake, I do consider it a sport. So that's not what I'm saying when I said it's a beauty pageant. I'm talking about the overall appearance and physique when you hit the stage. The stage is only a piece of it. Like the main part, the stage is like the final product. You've done the work. The main part is what you do in the gym, in the kitchen, day in and day out, consistency. And then we're not just talking about food and working out. We're talking about sleep. We're talking about everything you have to do to maintain yourself as a person, your family, things outside, other contributing factors that all tie into your overall appearance on this stage. So I do consider it a sport. I'm just saying the portion that I feel should be more taken into consideration is what you look like on stage, and all of those things matter, because I feel like that's like, what is it? I don't, sports reference. That's like you dropping a ball, fumbling a ball at the right at the line. Like when you get on stage and all of that stuff isn't wrapped up, but you've done all of this work. You look phenomenal, but you can't pose. You look a mess on stage. Your suit is washing you out with the back of the lights, which we don't know what the thing is going to look like, but you can still figure out hair and makeup that doesn't clash with your suit, that possibly clashes with the background. But it all goes into it, and your coach should be somebody who also is like, hey, that hair color isn't going to work with this suit. Don't do this, do this. So it all is encompassing in this big old ball of things that you have to do as you're competing. But like you said, it's expensive, and if you're a national level competitor, you're paying $300 per category just to compete, not to mention flight, hotel, Ubers, food, hair, makeup, and if you're using one of these companies, that's like $180 to $200 just for your makeup for one day.
Mhm.
Then photos, and it's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, and then there's recovery, like after the shows, when you go get a massages, you go see your doctor, get your blood work done.
Chiropractor, all of it is a part of it.
Yeah, and that's like any athlete. If you look at the top levels, they have sports doctors and stuff like that. And I know one thing I talk about a lot in bodybuilding, that there should be more benefits, especially as we hit the pro level or even the amateur level, where okay, if I get my pro card, what do I get out of it? I got to pay two or three hundred dollars a year for a card that. What do I get out of it? Do I get benefits from it? Do I get like, okay, if I get sick, like we had like, a couple years ago, we had a bunch of deaths. If something happens to me, like you have a kid, you have a child to take care of, and you should be able to have something out of it. We put much into sport, the sacrifice you make. And I know with some ladies, so again, they try to make their money other ways, like is I call them the excuse my language and excuse my French, the beat the meat websites. That's what they are. Come
Yeah,
on,
like
guys.
OnlyFans, all type of stuff. Like, I listen, and I'm not knocking nobody. Listen, I'm not get your money. Like, I'm gonna just say whatever works for you or whatever kind of gets you to that next level. It's hard, and granted, with my job, I make pretty decent money. It's still not enough being a single parent while trying to compete, while having somebody whose shoe size is bigger than yours, and you got to keep J's on her feet. Like, it's not.
Jay, hey, buy her Skechers. They don't cost that much. If you
Listen,
don't have, like, excuse me, I'm gonna talk to you as I grew up. My mother had to raise 6 kids and 2 grandkids. I'll tell you this. My parents were together for 55 years, even though they were married 55 years, even though my dad lived in New Jersey, we were down here in North Carolina. It's just sometimes I understand you new parents, you want to like your kids to look nice, but no, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta stretch a dollar. Unless you got a job.
Listen, so 2 things. My daughter has been in a size 11 women's shoe for like 2 years.
That's like
She got to have J's on her feet, because if any one of these raggedy kids starts teasing my daughter or bullying her, it's gonna be a wrap. So like, to mitigate some of that, like, all right, she's pretty simple. We can go to Forever 21 and buy a $15 t-shirt or something. She's simple. If it's black, gray, or white, she'll wear it. But them shoes got to be right. It's either those Crocs, and she'll wear those, but she got to have her shoes. You know, she got to look presentable because she's my representation. And she's my only child, so I just do what I have.
I understand. I got my older sister. Like I said again, her son. He's the only child. He's like that too. But between my sister and my mama, he got spoiled, and I can understand that. But still, like I said, until she gets a job, and then she knows something. She can't be always buying J's. You got no job. This is my man, KL saying, but bodybuilding is something that everyone cannot do, and it's complex. And that is said by the great Mr. He's a legend. If everybody know this man, and he said it best. Everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but don't want to lift a heavy ass weight. And that is the great Mr. Lee Haney. He said that because it's tough. And like I said again, we talk about the process of eating diet. Like after your last show, which was Chicago, what did you get to eat? What was that thing you wanted? That thing that was calling your name?
You know what? I didn't even want anything really. It was weird because I had just did Atlanta, and I ended up. Chicago was really like my coach, who is a 212 competitor. He competed in Atlanta and at Chicago as well. And so we were talking. I was like, I'm thinking about Chicago. He was like, do it. You can room with us. We're trying to figure it out, the logistics of it out. And actually, I was talking to one of my friends who is also a figure pro, Ashley. And she was saying, she was like, well, I'm doing figure. I told her I was thinking about it. She was
Ashley
like,
Fuller?
Yes. Ashley was like, room with me, and I was like, all right. So
this is true story. You can tell Ashley. She can tell you this. A while back, I did a video about Ashley, and she really liked it. And then she reached out to me about something. There was this. It was a IG channel that was IT account were posting pictures of female bodybuilders, like female bodybuilding queen. I posted that and I talked about it. She reached out to me. I'm trying to get her. I think she's doing an interview with David Bryant at Female Bodybuilding Forum. Shout out to David, great guy. And and she I know she was physique for a good minute. She has a great physique. She's very,
her waist. She has the tiniest waist. She just everything. She's amazing.
Yeah. How long y'all know each other?
So I started following her on IG when she was physique. I was like, oh my God, you're great. And so we just sparked up a friendship and have been talking online all this time. And even this year, I was like, okay, I reached out to her and she was doing like pretty much my posing coach early on in the process. And even now I can reach out to her. I'm like, hey sis, I need some time, and she'll pull up. But we just became really close in the last couple of years. And so as we don't talk about the friendships enough in bodybuilding that you meet over time. Like, yeah, it's competitive, and it's only nasty competitive when people are just like, people who grew up not winning and then they win, maybe not super competitive people, but all in all, the friendships that you make in this process, just by people you meet online that you don't really even know, but they have followed your journey, and then you meet them in person and they're just as cool as in person. So, me and Ashley have been cool for these last few years, and we'd always told each other when I got my pro card, we'd do a show together. And when I told her I was thinking about Chicago, she called me. She was like, do it. I have an extra bed. Let's do it. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. Like, even if I had a one in Atlanta, I would have done Chicago or even came to Chicago to support her, since it's not that far of a drive for me.
Yeah, that's good, because you know what? I like I said this, when I started doing this content, there's some ladies who I gain friendships too. This is that I have the numbers. I can call them and say, hi, what's up? How you doing? Some ladies who are really cool. I was talking with, I did an interview with Renee Reef that week when she found out. She said she's going to do the Chicago, and she said she had to get water loading that week because she didn't realize that the show was that Friday.
Yeah.
Because this is one thing. This is something I often say, because one of my favorite movies, and KL can attest to it, is the whole Chris Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. I'm a big Batman fan. Mm-hmm. And in the first movie, Batman Begins, where Liam Neeson is Henry Ducott, aka Ra's al Ghul, talks to Bruce Wayne, says, Be where he surrounds all time, Master Wayne. Never give up sure footing for a killing blow. And that's how you need to be. You need always be in the sport. Be aware of your surroundings, and just, and realize what's going on. Also here, this is KL. He's a hater, and he says this: you women need to make more money than wasting it. Hey. Then hey, KL, you need to do this. You can pay for it as a competitive bodybuilder. Sign a contract, baby. Put it up. Offer a deal. But his thing is, if you do stuff like this, guys, don't be that weird guy saying, "Hey, Marika, you're kind of pretty, and, if I do something for you think you do something for me?" No.
They always come with stipulations in any way, shape, or form. And that's kind of what I've learned. It's not even just in bodybuilding, just being a woman in general. Like, it's a little creepy out here, dealing with different things. But really, to go back to answer your question, like what I craved. So in Atlanta, I really wanted donuts or ramen. I love ramen. And it's not even that heavy. Like, as you compete, you don't want like BS really right after the show, because it just feels gross. Like, you feel gross if you go and like slam this big nasty thing. But burgers are always good. If I can find a good burger, we ate at Happy Bites in Chicago. It was a little right around the corner from the venue, like maybe 2 minutes away, and you would not think that the food was as good as it was. It was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, we got somebody coming here. You gotta watch out. His name will get you. This is my man, Balls Deep. He says this. He says, "Good morning, gorgeous." He says,
"Good morning,
Chicago in here." He's from Chi-Town. Also, shout out to Balls Deep. Thank you for smash that like button. Yes, people, smash that like button. Also, he says, "Peace and blessings, beautiful." You got a fan.
Thank
and also, he says, "Salute." What up and salute to the chat. Thank you, Balls Deep. And he also says this: "She's full as AF." Because you get these guys excited. He says, he asks you the questions, "Can you flex for me, baby?" I don't know if she wants to or not. She's done 4 or 5 shows this month. You may want a little tired, relax. I know you guys, you get excited. We get you girls get their muscles, they popping in the tight little suits, but come on, guys. Okay. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, that is the thing. I mean, one thing I remember, like, I can tell you something about myself. I used to be almost 500 pounds, and I dropped down to, I probably gained a little weight because I hadn't done the gym too much lately. I was doing some stuff, and I could tell you that is tough, because one day I was out and about, and I went into this place because I was doing some stuff. It was like coming up the holidays. I would pick up some stuff. I stopped and got myself something at this. I love Chinese food. I love it. I'm a Chinese loving whore. You can say that. And I was eating it, but it just didn't feel, it was like I didn't get that same feel like I used to before, because I think, I still eat some things. I like to say, I don't try to have a little bodybuilding lifestyle, but I do try to eat healthy, because I gotta be careful. I'm diabetic. I got high blood pressure, all that stuff. But still, sometimes you cannot deny those simple pleasures in life. And what's your favorite other than the ramen and that is, my brother likes ramen. He loves that. I don't eat it too much, but yeah, people got to say that with food and dieting and all this and working out and consistency, and you said earlier your weak spots is your glutes, and I see you got some great abdominals. You have those washboard ants. You can put you in a wash tub, Now, when you took 6th at the Chicago, what did the judges tell you? Because you were great in Atlanta. What happened?
To be honest with you, I didn't get my judges' feedback this time around, and I think because the show was still going on, like it was 2 days. We competed on Friday. To be honest with you, I don't know what they were looking for. I mean, again, I don't tolerate any disrespect for any of the other women competitors that I compete against. They came, they saw, they did what they were supposed to do. I don't know what it was. Even if I look at the pictures, I am confused, but I can't really get too down with what he didn't see or what he was potentially looking for in Chicago. I don't know what it was, because Becky was the judge and head judge in Atlanta, which she was there judging with Steve. I've never been judged by Steve. Could be because he doesn't know who I am, and that's fine.
Steve Weinberger, that's the husband of Beth Francis, one of the greatest women in bodybuilding ever known.
Right. He doesn't know who he probably have never seen me, have never judged me, but I had been in front of Becky twice. So Becky was the head judge in St. Louis, and then Becky was the head judge in Atlanta. And I'm sure that she saw the difference of how my body transformed from St. Louis to Atlanta. And so when I got my feedback in Atlanta, she was like, just tighter glutes is all I got. I got great posing, great stage presence, look great, better glutes. And I've been like literally killing my glutes. And in all honesty, all I can do is just take that feedback and try my hardest to bring that in. So I don't really know what they were looking for because it wasn't a whole lot of glutes on that stage in Chicago. And there's no Tino shade to anybody in that. So I don't know what they were looking for. And that's fine. I'm going to keep getting in front of Steve until he sees me. And that's all I can do at this point in time. So I really don't know what happened.
Yeah, the thing is that this is what I talk about a lot, what I'm seeing now. The judges have a lot of control when it comes down to what they want to look at. I've seen shows where some women, like, I look at this one show, I say, wait a minute, she looked great. But why she's third, why this chick here is like first? I've seen some shows like she looked great and she deserved that placing. I know some guys who follow my channel say like, oh, like this person gonna do this person that. But it's critique. The judges have a lot of control. Like this is why I say like physique and women's bodybuilding, the lines are thinning. If you look at someone good example, because one is the person, I'm gonna pull up a picture real quick because I did an interview with a lady who competed, and I think you competed same shit with her, and that was I think it was Oksana Perari, and I believe y'all were at St. Louis together. I think it was, and this is, and you look at Erin Sherbert. This was from Omaha. Mm-hmm. And even though you can see some differences between the two, where I think Emily, her quads is one thing. Her quads is the thing that's really kind of separated her because she has big quads than most physique competitors. There's some few bodybuilders who don't have her quad development. And then if you look at, I did a thing where I had a comparison between, Christina Mendoza and Andrea Shaw, and Christina was at Chicago with you, mm-hmm. and you look at Andrea, she's like, some people say that Christina might do well at the Olympia. I don't, she might possibly crack the top 5, but I don't know about winning the show. But Andrea just has that great balance. Mm-hmm. But the judges, they keep changing the requirements. If you look at you look at Natalia Cuejo, who did both New York and she did Pittsburgh, and how she just big shoulders. I had a friend who lives in Florida. They were at the same event together. She said how big she got. It's just that if you look at the women, like if you look at how Ashley was in physique, but she switched over to figure. Mm-hmm. And it's just the criteria are just
it's all blurring because the heart. From what I am looking at outside, looking at it, and by any means, I'm not a judge, and I'm not, the judges judge. That's their job. So whatever they choose is what they choose. I'm not going to be bitter, mad, or anything. All I can do is come better, and that's how I look at it. But was it Emily, for instance? From my understanding, the criteria of her body would be considered women's bodybuilder, not women's physique. So if that is the case, why reward somebody in women's physique for a physique that should be in women's bodybuilding? And then what is going to happen is the people who are not as developed as Emily, or is it Emily, right? Emily, who took first at Omaha, because I went to her page. I was like, oh my gosh, like insane physique. But then you're going to have women who don't have that type of muscle development doing everything up under the sun to get to that size. Then they're too big or they've blown themselves out and can't be competitive because they don't have the symmetry. Even though the standard is, if for me in women's bodybuilding, if the standard stayed Andrea Shaw, I could see myself doing it. I could see myself growing my quads a little bit more and getting bigger. to be competitive. But then if you have the second place winner of the Olympia, phenomenal physique, phenomenal presence on stage, shredded to bones. So it's kind of like, what is the aesthetic that we're going for? Because if you look at the criteria for women's physique, it doesn't call for shredded glutes. It doesn't. So it's kind of like where you show up, who the judge is, and what they prefer, but over. It's not all cohesive sometimes. So that's why I say you can't really get in your feelings about these shows. You can be upset, you can be disappointed, but you can't get in your feelings and completely change your whole aesthetic because one judge didn't see the potential in you or another judge did see the potential in you. All you can do is keep getting that 1%, 2%, or however many percentage is better for a physique that you feel comfortable in and comfortable being in. Because I didn't really think I was that tall until I'm 5'5". I'm not really that tall. But if I'm standing next to somebody that's 5'3" and they're on a smaller size, like let's just say everybody on stage doesn't have as much dense muscle as I have and they're on the smaller side and they're shorter, they're going to grade on a curve. Like I just kind of got lucky where I had a little bit more dense muscle and conditioning was equal to where I could pull off a second place in Atlanta is what I think, my own perception. So it's just, you're being judged and it's all pretty much a perception of what they want. So it's not like, here is the standard they are going to go by all of that to every single T. So you just have to do what you feel comfortable doing, put the work in and get better. That's it.
It's like Sylvester Stallone in the movie Judge Dredd, prepare to be judged. Here, this is from a man, Ballsy. He says, she's cute with braces. Yeah, you got Ballsy. He says,
I'm getting my braces off on the first, so they're going to be gone very soon.
Also, he's asking, she's single? He wasn't single,
I am single, but I am not looking to mingle.
No balls. She's not single, not looking for mingle. She's focused. She got a kid to take care of. She got this to take care of. And he says he look at your stuff. He says your physique is fire. And he says,
thank you.
He says, he says sexy ladies, and also he says, also he likes to know like this. What do you want out of bodybuilding? And that's the thing is, what do you want as a competitor?
As a competitor, I want to win. No, I mean, my goal right now is the Olympia. Like, I don't get too far ahead of myself. I set realistic goals because I know that I can hit those goals. Like, that's important to me. I am a goal setter. I'm going to keep achieving, but ultimately, I don't know if I want anything out of bodybuilding as much as bodybuilding has taught me so much about consistency and when I really focus in on something, what I can achieve. And I already know that about myself, but I love the consistency and the hard work it takes. Like, I don't shy away from hard work. It actually, and I know it sounds so super cliche, but I actually really like it. Like, I like knowing that if everything else is outside of my control in my life, like something going awry in my life, the one thing that I can control is my body and how I present it and what I put into it and what I look and how I look. I mean, I want to look like I'm in shape like this, at least until I'm like 65 would be nice. That's the goal for me. It's just to learn consistency. And I apply everything that I do in my bodybuilding, I apply in my professional life. I apply it to who I am as a mom because it all starts with consistency. In my relationships, it's consistency. That's what it is.
And that's a good thing because you said about being a mom. When I was following bodybuilding, there weren't that many women like you who had children, who had, the numbers have grown in the last few years. I mean, there's ladies have their interviews who have kids, 2 kids, 3 kids, born kids, and for one thing, if you take like one thing, certain supplements, it does affect your body. Like, it develops how you develop and how you process as a woman. And then a lot of women miss out on opportunity of childhood, but you had that before you started. This is from a man, KL. He says like this. He says, at one point, you should want to mingle, just don't mingle too hard.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
been there, done that. Got the t-shirt and a kid. I'm good.
yeah. You
I
got
mean, when it's
kids.
right is right, and when I'm ready, I will. But right now, I'm so hyper focused on like my bodybuilding career, my professional career. It's things that I want nest eggs for my daughter. I want to break generational curses for my daughter. I want my daughter to have property in her name. I don't want her to have to struggle through college the way I did just for a degree, which I have a degree, but it was a struggle. I want her to be able to go to college and not have to worry about anything but getting decent grades. I'm so focused on something totally different, and social media has made dating a shit show, for lack of better words.
Like I said, my woman was my mother, and I remember I remember a long time I used to work at this job. I used to work in textile with a bunch of women, like I said before, and also one of my other jobs, I used to work in a gentleman's club, or if you're from the hood, it's a booty club. And that's what it was,
Mm-hmm.
booty club. And I had relations, but relationships. I wouldn't mind having somebody now that it's just me. But you know what? It's a lot of work to be in a relationship, and being that your mother and you have kids, and responsibility, and you're a competitive bodybuilder. And that's a tough part about it, because instead again, some people don't understand. Because to me personally, you ladies are beautiful. I mean, you just like this ladies who I follow. Like you were a ladder with Mila Ash. I sent a thing to Mila, and she said thank you. And Mila is just beautiful. She reminds me of one of my favorite bodybuilders back in the day, Vicky Gates. I did an interview with a lady who's friends with her, Tony Mercury. And I think you were awesome with Tony. Tony's a beautiful lady too. She's a mom like yourself, and has a husband and four boys. That's yeah. So and I gotta respect you, what you ladies do, what you go through, and people don't understand that you are athletes. You're a competitive sport. It may be not as mainstream like it was back in the day. Well, it used to be on, like I said, on television. But now it's a sport that is going through some hardship. Like this year is, I think, the worst year for women's bodybuilding. The numbers are very low. With physique, even your numbers drop off a little bit, but still compared to women's bodybuilding, you get a little bit, because you're supposed to be the replacement for women's bodybuilding. But this is the thing that people gotta remember. Everybody is a process. Like if you look at divisions now, like I would say the TNA divisions. We all know what TNA divisions are. That's wellness and bikini.
Mm-hmm.
There's some ladies who started out as bikini at one point. Then they went up to figure, and then they went up to physique, and then eventually some go up to bodybuilding. I've seen some ladies who went sideways and done wellness.
A lot of people. Here's the thing: a lot of it plays into your genetics, right? A lot of women can't. I luckily have a back. It's one of my best features. I can grow it. If I didn't train back or only did pull-ups every other day, my back would still be crazy. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? So a lot of people who can't get the size or the width on their back, they're like, okay, well, where do I fit in? So they're trying to figure it out. But a lot of people are really downsizing and going to wellness, or people going from bikini to wellness, or even figure is kind of dwindling a little bit more as you see it. And again, like I really truly, like I was on a stair stepper for my fasted cardio. I'm doing like an hour in the morning. When I get done with this, I still got to go do cardio. But just sitting there thinking, I was like, what if I did women's bodybuilding in Tampa just to see where I stacked up? Like, because I still have the option. I still could say, okay, well, I want to do women's bodybuilding, one pro show women's bodybuilding this year, to kind of see if I went to women's bodybuilding, what I would have to do. What would be the critiques? How would I have to grow? And that's the beauty in being a pro. You're not paying to doing it. You're just signing the contract and showing up and putting your best foot forward to kind of see where you go. And when I was in Atlanta, my bags were in this little corner when I came with a beautiful Black woman. I was like, I know her. I know who she is, and you've never probably met him, but it was Desanka.
Oh yeah, I talked to her on social media. She was physique last year, and Tony told me about her. She's the niece of the great late Jackie Joyner. Not Jackie Joyner. Florence Griffith Joyner.
Flojo.
I went, wow.
I could see that. She's beautiful. And I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois. So like JJK, Flojo, all of that is what I grew up with in East St. Louis, right? But she was talking, we were talking and she was like, oh, your suit is beautiful. We're talking. And so she was like, when did you turn pro? Like, as we're talking through. And I was like, yeah, I got my pro card in women's bodybuilding. She was like, you should come to women's bodybuilding. And like I said, it's a forefront. It's a thought. And it's a thought that maybe I might do another show. I don't know. Right now, my mind is like, I am done after Tampa. But I feel like if I get close, my heart is going to be like, no, let's do this. Like, keep going until you can move that needle. So I don't know really after Tampa what the plan is. I might do Daytona, might not do Daytona. I might just pop up at some shows. Who knows? I thought about going to Arizona. I don't know. Ashley's trying to get me to go to Arizona. I was like, sis, I don't know.
There's always the Mid-Atlantic show. Also, there's, I don't know if you're old enough for it. There's the Gary Unit Master Show. That's a great way to test yourself, because I know some ladies who, I know Woody Sanchez, who I'm really cool with. She was a physique competitor. She did that show before, and I think she doubled it one year. She was doing women's physique and women's bodybuilding, I believe, for that show. And yeah, that could be an option. Because
most of the master shows, I think now you have to be 40 plus to do them. Like the few pro shows I've seen that had masters, it was 40 plus. I'm not 40
yet. You're not 40 yet. I would think you're 25.
I mean, I'm itching 40. I'll be 38 this year, so I'm getting close. But
next year I'll be 50. I'll be an old man. So, yeah, and this young girl
isn't old just yet. I never understood when I felt like I was old, and people were like, "Oh, you're just a baby." I'm like, I'm not a fucking baby. But
no.
when you think about it, it's not that old, really.
I'd be like my favorite hero, Doc Holliday from Tombstone. I'm in my prime, sir. This is my man, Raheem Hamilton says, wow, great show. Thank you, Raheem. And my man, Kia says, he ain't mad at you, Marika. Also, this is my man, Lawrence Perkins. Shout out to Lawrence Perkins. Good morning, Marika, George, and everyone on the chat. Happy Saturday. Thank you, Lawrence. Appreciate that. Lawrence. Also, this is a man from Kia says, who wants to date a bodybuilder? It's like they just want to accept compliments and nothing more. Well, yeah, they're not compliments, but it's all about the woman itself. Like I said, I've worked many years with women. I worked, 13 years in textile with women, 5-6 years working in a club with women. I have, my mother had 3 older sisters. And with women, it's all about the mindset of that woman. Not everybody, like, yes, I deal with some ladies who, like, they want to kiss their butt, but at the same time, I deal with women who were just real.
Right. I'm not one of those women. You could not talk to me and it wouldn't bother me. Like, I don't care about the compliments. And I know that sounds weird, but I don't. Like, I appreciate the people who follow my journey and who have supported me over the years, and people that I've helped unknowingly, that I've helped get out of a slump. I get those types of messages a lot, and that matters more to me than anything. Even, again, with my professional life, being in leadership and seeing a lot of my direct reports have the life, get the roles that they want, succeed in our company, and those things matter more to me than a title or compliments, or even people knowing that I'm a bodybuilder or whatever the case may be. They know I do it. They might not know the nuances of it, but ultimately, I don't want to date nobody who can't add to my life. If we can't add to each other's life, if you're not coming in and you're helping improve it, if you're causing me more stress, it's unnecessary for me. And that's just what I look at it now. I'm not 25. I'm not a kid. I done been through some things. I've been in an 8-year relationship with somebody who really tried to break me down because I was a strong woman. And I have no intent of going back to those types of people. So if I choose to be single, that is my choice. And I'm not out here looking for compliments. I'm not looking for anything. I get my own money. I have my own job, my own car, my own house. I take care of myself. So, I mean, it is what it is for me. And when the right person comes along, then I'm going to give that person the time of the day. Until then, I'm just going to do me and be the mom that I am and play and do what I want to do with my sport and go from there and focus on the things that matter to me right now in this moment, because I can't get this time back.
Yeah. This is a great interview. This is why I enjoy doing what I do. Reach out to lovely ladies like you, and you are lovely. As the other guys say, you are beautiful. Marika, I'm a particular type of criminal, and you are a particular kind of lady. and you interest me. I'm king of anarchy and chaos. But you can complete me anytime. I'm sorry. I have multiple personalities. Right now, you're talking to all the way George Page, aka the Emperor Feel About Me Talk. Then there's the pervy sage. Then I'm Lord of the Wall, Master. Because it's like I get information, and like you ever watch the show Game of Thrones? They're kind of like my ravens. They can give me information. So I'm the Lord of the Wall. Call me Jon Snow, the Bastard of Winterfell. And then also there's the hater. He comes out every now and then that's the other guy. I love the other guy. But sometimes you got a bad guy, bad guy. This is from my man Balls Deep. It says I wouldn't mind dating a bodybuilder. You gotta understand it's a lot of work, brother. It's like it's not just any other woman, but you guys treat them the same. And also Balls Deep, if you have the opportunity, glasses up, my G. Yeah. And also this is from how's her day going? Like I said, you say you're about to get ready and go and do your cardio. And what is your favorite exercise? What's your least favorite exercise as you compete?
My favorite exercise, it used to be deadlifts. I just like lifting, picking up weight and putting it down. I don't use gloves or anything just because I feel like it get in my way. So deadlifts was my favorite exercise. It's a close tie between deadlifts and pull-ups, but I mean, who knows? Least favorite exercise is Bulgarian split squats, and I do them a lot because I hate them so much.
I know I think a lot of bodybuilders, their least favorite exercise always they hate leg day because I
don't hate leg day. Love leg day. I hate Bulgarian split squats.
Bulgarian, it's like yes it is for the that's particular name and I think one thing is everybody says it's about bodybuilding. It's about the process of and consistency to follow your diet, follow your coaches. Now, who's your coach again? You say he's working with?
My coach is Kevin Johnson, and he started working with me. I was with a coach. Wasn't a great coach. It was a terrible experience. And I reached out to him. We had followed each other on social media, and he had been like a supporter. And I was like, yo, help me. Like this was right after Bahamas. So I don't know if you all know, but I ruptured my Achilles in 2020. So it's always been like one of my scariest thing that I've always never wanted. Cause I've seen being a cheerleader, I've seen so many people rupture their Achilles. I've seen a compound fracture happen after landing tumbling. So I was terrified. And I did it tumbling. I was playing around at the gym and I had my friend videotaping me. And as soon as I went to do my round off, I heard it snap. And I just was like, okay, if I stop now, I'm going to really hurt myself. So I just did the tuck and I landed on one leg. And I was like, okay, yeah, I fucked up. Like something's bad. Something bad just happened. And so when it happened, I went and they told me it was partially torn and it would, you just have to stay off of it. And then it snapped again. And I ended up having to so it happened right at the height of the pandemic in that April. And then I didn't have surgery until August on it. So it was like getting up to over 200 pounds because I was immobile and really I couldn't even put my weight on it. Like it was an interesting experience. So soon as they gave me the go ahead to train at the end of 2020 in November, I hit the ground running for a show in June, and it was the Puerto Rico show, but it was in the Bahamas. And that was the last time with that particular coach. And I was like, I got to do something else. And then that's when I moved over with Kevin Johnson and we did North Americans. And I was like, I can keep going. And that's when I ended up doing women's bodybuilding and at nationals and got second. So he's been my coach. He's a great partner. He listens to me. He does not shove supplements down my throat. And I'm one of those people who I won't take stuff regardless. I have to read it and understand what it's doing to my body because that's I feel like if it's going in my body, I don't have to just listen and say, okay, I'll take it. I have to know why and what the reason and what it could possibly do. So it is, it's been a lot happening over the years and coming back from an injury like that. And if you ever notice, you can see it in my calf. They ended up taking some of the muscle from my calf because they thought that they were going to have to put a cadaver tendon in, but because my muscle was so well preserved, the tendon rolled up in my calf and they were just able to pull it back down and attach it to my heel. So I cannot grow a calf on my right side. There's nothing that I can do. It's never going to be the same.
Yeah, we look at here the video from the yeah, it's tough. And if people don't know what cadaver is, that means that is a piece of somebody who is dead. It is, it's so. Truthfully, we all know it takes humans to do. They use tests in animals, but truthfully, it takes humans to test. Because they won't do it because it's humane, but it takes humans to develop humans. You can't. What works on a monkey doesn't go work on a real person. But but you went through hell and back, especially during 2020, because that's when the year I lost my mother. She got the virus, and it was just awful. I mean, my sister, she had got it twice. Both my sisters, one had got it twice, one got it later on. It's tough, and going through that with an injury, your child is there with you. I mean, I got to give respect for that. I mean, it really got to. It's from man Lawrence Perkins says, still beautiful always, ma'am. Also, he says, this is from Balls Deep. I would build you up, sweetie. All right. Also, this is from Lawrence Perkins. Keep on doing what you're doing, Marika.
Thank you.
This is from Jimmy Stuckey. He says, enjoyed the interview. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. And also, this is from Lawrence. It's a shout out to you, Marika, a mother, first kids, first love, over anything as a bodybuilder, keep your legacy alive. And that's true. And also, my man Balls D says, what you got to bodybuilding? You missed that, Balls D. So you missed it, you can watch the video later. You can watch it. But folks, we're not gonna hold up too long because she's a busy lady. She's prepping. She's got Tampa coming up this weekend. As you know, the women's bodybuilding part is gonna be on Friday the 3rd.
Friday. So women's physique and women's bodybuilding is Friday.
Yeah, because I think it's a Friday or Saturday, because I think the Masters actually is the 3rd. Then the women's part is the 4th.
They're going to run it pretty much the same way Chicago was run.
Yeah, because
women's bodybuilding, right? Women's bodybuilding, so check-ins will be Thursday, and then Masters will go Thursday night. Then Friday, women's bodybuilding, women's physique, and I think they did wellness and bikini that day.
Yeah, fitness too, because I'm interviewing a young lady tomorrow. She's a fitness competitor. She's named Anna Fomina, and she made a debut at the Chicago Pro, because I interviewed a couple of her trainers, Oksana and Autumn, a while back. Yeah. And I reached out to her because and like I said, as a content maker, I really want to expand, because for a long time I was mostly just trying to women's bodybuilders, but I put in women's physique competitors. Some ladies in the amateurs coming up. I even interviewed a lady who was a bikini competitor who's a doctor, a MD, not like a PhD, like a doctor, a sawbone as they call it. And I enjoy it because the lady who won in the division, she's actually a doctor. I just was in contact with her, Miss Danny Lamartin. I hope we get on here, and talk to her, and get opportunities to see how she feels. This is from Baldy says, yeah, she's thick. You saw the video, and said that ass though. Yeah, Baldy says, and he says, nice rack. And he says, good luck, beautiful. And we say, wish you good luck, and this is what I say to people out there in sport who are fans, ladies. And she does have sponsors, because you say you have bikini sponsor, you have All Max, who's your sponsor also. But it's always good to have extra, because what does these sponsorships help take a little stress off when it comes to your pockets. And what I would say to people out there who are fans of women like this, send a genuine interest in these ladies in sport of bodybuilding. I know if you are someone who has the means and the ways to help a lady, like simple contract, have a thing say, okay, we can pay this much, like this, you'll be represented for a product or whatever else. This could help a lot of competitors. As you know, bodybuilding is an expensive sport. It's a physically, mentally draining, financially sport. And like I said, she has a little girl she takes care of. And you know, maybe you guys out there buy her some J's. You know, buy like go like take it to. Hey, we're going to the Nike. Hey, baby,
Right, I'll take a sneaker hookup any day.
hey, that helps out too. Hook her up with sneakers. Hey, guys out there, who your fan ladies? Because I know, hey, I know you guys. You love these ladies. You love when you're on stage. I remember when I started. You know, remember when I used to go online. When I first started getting online, that was back in the day. We used to have you to dial up. And I used to go to these message boards in the chat rooms. And there's one guy tell me how he used to go to shows, and he told me, say, like, you know, like, hey kid, you know, if you're family's bodybuilder, you know how it is. There's a saying. He said, like, when you're ready to rock hard, we'll rock hard. And you know, but doing this content, I've learned a lot. I'm still learning some things, like the terminologies, like muscle bellies, the hams insertions, stuff that I didn't really know because being an outsider. You know, but I'm learning from some of these interviews and these conversations, these friendships I've garnered over time. You know, and so again, I gotta respect what you ladies do. Yes, I'm a fan of you ladies. I get excited when y'all see y'all, you know, on the stage. You know, but that's stage. But you know, every day you just women, and people will recognize that. I understand that the mindset of the everyday, you know, person. Women with muscle is not attractive, it's not appealing, but it is your process of being an athlete, and you want to get that next level. You want to get to the stage in Olympia. You want to like I've seen stuff going on right now. Like there's some people in this sport right now. Like I saw a while ago. So one of my little buddies sent me a thing about how there's a little few between the current Miss Olympia physique and the ex Miss Olympia physique. I mean, it's like
it's the best. I see it too, and I scroll right on past. I'm like, we don't even need that in the sport right now.
Yeah, because you're a rich woman's husband. Just don't pay attention to this girl. She's broke, but you know, she's doing good stuff. Sarah's doing because she put the money for I believe she put the money for
Texas Pro
and Pittsburgh too. Texas Pro is a good show. Yeah, $15,000.
Yeah, Texas Pro is a huge show for women's physique, and you get the huge trophy that's printed in her image, and I think top 5 get money, which I was like, whew, it should be top 5 every time, but you should, and it should be more than the amount that they're given based off of what these promoters are making on the shows. But you know, I'm not.
This is the truth of it. We all know that the men's division is the bottom bitch. They're the ones who are always going to bring in the money. Mm-hmm. That's the sad thing part about it. Women's sports, even though, as I said again, it costs you ladies more to compete compared to the men. You know, one time, the biggest pro for women's bodybuilding outside of the Olympia was Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. And the last few years, you got kicked out of the Arnold, both physique, figure, and women's bodybuilding. 212 I don't care about. Yeah, that's men's. I don't know. It's short dudes mostly. But now guys like Jake Woods, like I'm a big fan of Jake Woods. Yo, Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. Anytime I say his name, I gotta say it. You know, but you know, you ladies, you deserve. Like I will say, what Sarah's doing, she's doing good. She's stepping up for a division. Andrew Shaw, what she's doing, she's working with Cindy Gillen and Whitney Jones. They're stepping up for divisions. You know, we as the fans, sometimes I wish I can do more, but I have this platform, and I love to give you ladies like yourself a voice that you want to share. You know, we got these guys in here. I mean, you know, they come in here, they get excited, but they got to get to know who you ladies are and what you go through. And you know, am I making you cry? I am making you cry.
No, I'm over. It's early. It's early, and I normally get up early, but I wanted to make sure that I was here where I needed to be to talk to you, lovely people. So.
Well, we know what we do. Appreciate you talking to us, lovely people. Us little peons. We appreciate. You know, we smoke because I'm telling you the truth. I'm a muscle pro smoke. I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you that. We appreciate you, ladies, and we respect what you go through day in, day out to get to this level. You want to stop on stage with the big dogs, you know. You want to get up there, and you know it takes a lot. You're not going to go to the level for too far the level how things are going now. You want to go within comfortable. You know, in the last few shows, there's a big change. I mean, you still have people like Natalia and Emily with the shows, but you see women like Amy and Danny and some of these other ladies who are coming in here are who I think are kind of like what they want to see more. They want to go back to maybe Judy McCarr and Danielle Bailey, but it's hard once you pop that genie out of the bottle. You can't never go back to it.
It's hard. Well, it's hard to go back to it, and I say this in Amy's amazing. She was amazing backstage, and
Amy's from my home state of North Carolina.
Right. And so she told me she was from Missouri too. So she was when we got off stage and we knew we were top 2, we was like Missouri, we said, and so it was cool. But the thing that I see, even if they want to go back to that, what's going to happen for these people to be competitive on an Olympia stage, they're going to go up to be competitive. So then, you know what I mean? It's just, they're always going to be chasing, and it's going to be hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what she said. I'm sorry, I'm a smart ass too.
It's okay.
Yeah, but anyway, folks, we do appreciate the lovely Miss Jones, coming through here and sharing story, and we wish her best of luck in whatever show she does. Tampa is coming up this weekend, guys. If you like, one thing really help a lot of these divisions if we have more people at the shows. I know I would love to go to these shows, but I live on a modest mean, and once after I pay my bills like that, I'm broke. But I might check out the pay-per-view because I've been people. I actually talk about, hey George, why did you do like a live a thing about this? I said I might do it, but I'm thinking about doing it. So first of the month, so I get some money after I get my car fixed. But what we like to see people do is support people like Mrs. Jones, support these competitors. In the
it helps to have you guys in the audience yelling. It helps, like especially during prejudging. I know a lot of people, but they are making the shows way more expensive now, which is it's very weird because I think Atlanta was $60 for prejudging and then $80 for finals, and I was just like, ew.
That's tickets. Yeah, I think that was for the
for the tickets, and then I think for the live you possibly had to pay for the morning show and after. I don't know because I was there, but it helps to have people in the audience to kind of root and cheer for us over time. I mean, even people who send me the live, feeds and cheering, it still matters. So
yeah, and folks, we got a man here, Balls Deep. We give him one more before you head out. He says, any interest in anything outside of bodybuilding? What do you like to do aside of just working out and being a mom?
Right. I mean, right now it's working and working out and being a mom, getting ready for my daughter to go to high school. And that's about it. I mean, I tattoo on the side every now and again when I get bored, but
tattoo, yeah. Because I think through here, Balls Eat was wondering how many tattoos you got, because I see that one the shoulder, you got the ones the legs. I mean,
I have a lot. I learned how to do tattoos when I was 15. So like a lot of tattoos, like my left arm is covered. Where can you see? I don't know.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Right here. Yes.
Yeah. I see.
Left arm is pretty much covered because I'm right-handed. So if I get bored, I'll just add tattoos or.
Yeah. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of tattoos. I think sometimes, depending where they're at, they can't take away, because that's one thing I think that does hurt sometimes in judging.
It washes away your muscles. So I won't ever get this arm tattooed. So like if I do it with side tricep, I don't do it on this arm because it washes out my side tricep. So I won't get very many tattoos that affects showing my body anymore.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And here my man Boss, he says, have a good day, beautiful. He says, also says, nice butterfly in the dream catcher. And it says, and you do your own tats. Yeah, she does her own tats. That's good.
Every now, the ones I can reach, not all of them, but the ones I can reach, or if I feel like it.
That's that could be a great side hustle. I know a lot of ladies like to get tattoos. Tattoos, like they say, it's addictive. Like I think one thing I hear sometimes from some of these ladies, two things that they're really addicted to is tattoos and boob jobs. It's just
it's hard when you have pecs and you used to have boobs. I mean, it changes, and like your boobs are the only thing that you cannot work up and get back. You can build an ass without going to go get a BBL, but you can't do anything about that. But I don't know. I mean, tattoos has just been a constant. I started, like I said, I used to draw as a kid, and I always like to use any talent that I have. And so I started learning how to do tattoos when I was 15, and that's kind of how I got into it. And I mean, my godfather owns a shop, and so I'll still work at the shop, or every now and again if people feel like coming to my house. I don't really like people in my house like that and doing tattoos because
Oh,
ink and stuff on my carpet. I don't want any of that. But I mean, it's a good side hustle, and at a point in time, I made a very good living doing it, and then the kind of recession happened, so it just,
yeah, yeah,
I have a
yeah.
degree, might as well use it.
Yeah, that's good. It's good that you have a little side hustle. Everybody should have that. My mother, she used to have a side hustle. Like my mother used to say, sell clay dirt. If you know what clay dirt is, and that was a little side hustle. I mean, she was like, people said, man, some guy used to tell me, man, your mama's like Tony Montana. I said, nah, man, my mama's not Tony Montana. She's Sosa. Because remember Scarface? It was Sosa said, "Kill that funky monkey," and that's my mom. That's my mama. I love my mother. She was, I miss her, but I like always talk about her when I do these interviews because she's the one who inspired me to be who I wanted to be. And
Good.
and I found this through this process taking care of her. And I had people like this one guy who I become great friends. He does content on MMA, mixed martial arts. So do something you like, George. I said, okay. Well, I'm a big fan of bodybuilding. And I started talking about the sport and reach out to ladies, and just so again, guarding these friendships and learning stuff. And when I was way back, you said you compete against Chelsea. I was on a live stream. We did a live stream conversation with the female bodybuilding channel. It was me, the guys from female bodybuilding channel, David from female bodybuilding forum, Asha, and Chelsea. And and she's an amazing lady. I think she competing at the Rising. This
In
yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah,
She was great. She was very sweet backstage.
yeah, and like I say, thank you to my man. Bossy says R.I.P. to your mom. Thank you, Bossy. I appreciate that, brother. Because like I said again, I sound like an old cowboy because me and her used to watch Western. I said that was my woman, and my woman gone. So ma'am, but ma'am, I'm thank you for taking your time out with me, and I don't want you to be too beholden because I know you got things you got to do. And this is I'm gonna say to you, ma'am, as a competitor, what would you like to see change in bodybuilding in your mindset?
I would like to see, before people jump into this sport, them really do their research before they reach out to a coach. Um, it's almost like when you buy something from Target and you want to read the reviews, like really, really understand and use your intuition and do your research before you get into it. And even if you want to just do one show, that's good to like say it's like a bucket list thing. That's great, but really take your health and your mentality and all of that stuff into consideration when you're prepping for these shows or when you're thinking about getting into bodybuilding. And it's super subjective. So don't let someone get into your head about what you should look like, what you should be, and how you should be. As long as you're getting better and you're following the criteria that is in place on the website of what they're looking for per category, then I think that you're in the right place. But if anything makes you feel off with your coach, wrong, a lot of sexual stuff where coaches are sending you, trying to exploit you sexually and different things, run. And that's for male and females because it's weird out here on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure that you have a partner because this is your body, this is your brand and who you are. So just make sure that you're dotting all your I's and crossing all your T's.
Yeah, or cross all your lowercase J's and dot all your lowercase I's. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing is, I think people need to understand this is not just something you just get into it, just half-heartedly. You have to really. This is a lifestyle change.
It is.
You can't go eat at McDonald's like you want to. You can't, like I said, one lady I've talked to say they lost friendships because
you lose friendships.
Yeah,
you lose
because
relationships. You lose friendships. You lose a lot because people don't understand why you're not going out to the bar and drinking, or you're not at the club, or why you can't come out and it's like, and if they were your friends, they would support you and understand that this is a lifestyle change. But a lot of people don't want to see you change their lifestyle because they can't do it, and it makes them feel uncomfortable. So you lose them, and that's fine because sometimes that friendship just ran its course. And if I'm changing and you're not changing too, or you're not growing or not understanding and can't be supportive, then I love you. I can just love you from a distance.
And when I come friends, like things I learned with this, for instance, because I changed some of my eating habits, not all, but
Mhm.
little things, those things really help in the long run. But if people don't want to change, you can't make nobody do what they should do. You gotta live your life. They gotta live theirs. Like I say, when we had kids, when we were kids, we had friends. We growing up. Then we grow apart. A while back, my 40th high school reunion plan on something. I said, most people, I live in a small town. Half the people I see, other people I didn't really, get along that well with. So no point in me going all the way to just, and pay $45. That's money I keep in my pocket for it. But it's just about growing as a person and as an athlete and finding your place. I mean, and this is why, like I said again, ladies like you, women like you yourself, who do what you do and enjoy what you're doing, you need to recognize it. Yeah, everybody could see, like, people pay attention to people like the Natalia Cuejos, the Sarah Vilgas, whoever's the top dog at that time. But it's you competitors who are in the ditches, who are the trenches, who got your boots on the ground, 10 toes down, that keeps this sport going. And things have changed. They don't have the point system. I think the one point where I've seen that the numbers have dropped because the point systems anymore. That's and also with strength, they dropped the bachelor program. That's why they didn't have too many women competing this year like it did before. Those things, not as important, but they do kind of help, as a competitor in the process. So, folks, as I said again, this is a lovely lady who took time out and talked with me. And she's a very intelligent woman, and she is beautiful. And we like to wish her best of luck in this upcoming show. Maybe she might do a 6th show. I don't know. It's just like it's something you think about. It's just you put it back in your mind. Just put it up. It's like we put it back in the window. We'll think about it later. But folks, as I said again, if you are interested in following the lovely Mrs. Jones, her social media is in the description. Reach out in genuine interest. Reach out saying, hey, like this, that be this guy saying, Marika, stop it. This is what you say like this, Mrs. Jones, my name is such and such and such. I would like to help you out in your process as an athlete. So if you need something from me, let me know. We have a contract, we set things up, and we be discreet and respectful to your wishes. And that's what we need to see. Yes, we're going to see the weird stuff, because there are some weird guys out there. Because even like this, if you look at the fraction of the divisions of the different classes, women's bodybuilding, men's bodybuilding, you have the aspects of the fanship of men's bodybuilding in the whole is a lot larger. Because you break it down like this to guys who are fan of guys who are bodybuilders, guys who are come say come sa, and then you have the other divisions where like bikini and wellness, which is more the aesthetically pleasing feminine kind of sports. But us guys who are fans, you ladies, even though it's a small fan base, we are true to you. We respect you. We support you guys. Like my man Balls Deep in here, my man KL the Wanderer, Raheem Hamilton, my man Lois Perkins, my man Rory comes through here, who was here just to see you and to wish you best of luck. I appreciate you guys for coming through here. Folks out there who watch this video, if you're interested, follow her on social media, reach out to her, show support. Like I said, if you're a sponsor who's looking to, she's a lovely lady. Like, hey, there's some guy who has a tattoo shop who might want to use you as a model. Anything that can help in her process. We maybe this year, if not next year, we see it at the big O. But we're gonna wish you all the best of luck this coming weekend. We say hello to your little baby. Tell her to get a job. She want to buy J's. I know now back in the day, I used to make back there. We used to work. My family was sharecroppers. We worked in the field sometimes. We had to make our money. But nowadays they got labor laws. You can't do that. But I do genuinely wish you for the best of luck in this upcoming show, this upcoming season. We, like I said, this. I too was raised by a single mother, and I love especially I love Black women, especially I love Black female bodybuilders. I love y'all the most because I see so much of what my mother go through as a woman, as you ladies go through as women. I respect that about y'all. And also, like I said, I love women, but also I always will love my sisters. Because
Thank you.
No, don't need to think. One of my favorite quotes is from Batman Begins. And KL, you know it. With the end of Batman Begins, when Jim Gordon says to Batman, says, "I forgot to thank you," and he turns around and says to you, "You never have to." because I do this as a reason, because it gives me a purpose. Like I said, my woman's gone. I don't got no job. I don't have nothing else to do, but I love doing it in conversation with you ladies. My man, Ball Steve, you might want to help you with something too. He says, yeah, I'll put a little something on her phone bill. But Ball Steve, what you got to do to put a little something on her phone bill, Ball Steve? All right? Okay. But folks, we do appreciate the lovely Marika Jones for coming through. Wish her best luck at Tampa. Maybe she, I haven't seen the list yet. I know there's some people who are going to do that show. I said earlier, Jennifer Taylor was supposed to do it, but she dropped out. Best luck to Jennifer, Miss Taylor for Taylor. Maybe in the future she might come back again. You never know. I've seen many competitors say they step away for they want to take some time to rejuvenate. But what's best for you? You do. This is like I said. This is a sport, and you know what? You should live for yourself. You feel like if your heart's not eating anymore, move on. It's always going to be here. But if you feel like you want to come back here, you have a passion for it. That's good. That's why I respect ladies like this who have a passion in sport. But if you're someone again who's interested in following the lovely Miss Jones, her social media stuff in the description. Reach out to her, show support, show genuine interest. Don't be that weird guy. Hey, this is my rule. I keep telling you, sick freaks. You're sick freaks. I know. She's lovely. You see her traps. You got a ticket in your pickle. No D pics. You're gonna get them. Your mama's gonna get them. Your job's gonna get them. She has a kid. Be respectful and be understandable. All right. So we had no problems. Okay. All right. Like I said, I'd like to thank you, and I wish you all the best support, best of luck, and we appreciate you as fans.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed being here, and I hope that you guys all have a great week or weekend and rest of the month, whatever, so we keep going.
Yeah. Well, I hope it's the same for you, and tell your little girl, high school, just, high school, right? So anyway, folks, we actually again like to thank all people who came through. My man Ball Feet, my man KL the Wanderer, Lawrence Perkins, and Raheem Hamilton, Jim Stuckey, all you who follows me on my channel, follows Marika, like, comment, subscribe, support these ladies in sport of bodybuilding, support all these competitors in sport of bodybuilding, and be genuinely interested. Anyway, this is your man Always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk. Don't like, subscribe, don't subscribe. We're out. Have a great weekend and peace and love.
Bye.